Life in its truest form is not about rushing from one task to the next. Yet many of us seem to be caught in an endless cycle of activity as if our value lies in how busy we are. But I ask you, what is the purpose of being busy? Is it to fill the silence, to avoid confronting the truth of our existence, or to feel validated by our achievements? The world around us demands that we keep moving, that we stay occupied. But I urge you to ask yourself, are you truly living, or are you simply moving from one task to the next without ever stopping to be with yourself? To be means to experience life in its fullest form, to embrace each moment with awareness, to be present, not just in the body but in the mind and spirit as well. Busy means to be preoccupied, constantly reacting to the external world without ever stopping to question why you are running in the first place. We live in an age where busyness is worn as a badge of honor. But in this endless hustle, we forget that the greatest moments in life don't come from being constantly busy. They come from stillness, from reflection, from truly being present. Life, in its truest form, is not about rushing from one task to the next. Yet, many of us seem to be caught in an endless cycle of activity, as if our value lies in how busy we are. But I ask you, what is the purpose of being busy? Is it to fill the silence, to avoid confronting the truth of our existence, or to feel validated by our achievements? The world around us demands that we keep moving, that we stay occupied. But I urge you to ask yourself, are you truly living, or are you simply moving from one task to the next without ever stopping to be with yourself? To be means to experience life in its fullest form, to embrace each moment with awareness, to be present, not just in the body but in the mind and spirit as well. Busy means to be preoccupied, constantly reacting to the external world without ever stopping to question why you're running in the first place. We live in an age where busyness is worn as a badge of honor, but in this endless hustle, we forget that the greatest moments in life don't come from being constantly busy, they come from stillness, from reflection, from truly being present. In today's world, busyness has become a badge of honor, something we wear proudly as if it signifies our worth or success. We measure ourselves by how much we are doing, how many tasks we are juggling, how many hours we put in, and how little time we seem to have. The more we do, the more we feel that we are moving forward, accomplishing something meaningful. But this busyness, this constant doing, often becomes a trap. The trap of busyness is not just in the sheer amount of things we are doing, but in the way it prevents us from being present with ourselves. When we are busy, we are rarely fully aware of what we are doing. We are constantly moving from one task to the next, our minds scattered and unfocused and our sense of self lost in the rush. We fill our time with activities not because they truly nourish or fulfill us, but because we fear that if we stop we might face discomfort or emptiness. Busyness often acts as a shield. It protects us from silence, from stillness, from the unsettling moments when we must confront ourselves. When we are constantly occupied, we don't have to deal with the deeper questions of life. We don't have to reflect on our choices, our relationships, or our place in the world. The busier we become, the more we convince ourselves that we are moving forward, that we are living with purpose. But in reality, we may be running in circles, never pausing long enough to ask ourselves whether the path we are on is the right one. The trap also lies in the external validation that busyness brings. We are praised for how much we accomplish, for how much we juggle, for how little time we seem to have. But this external validation can easily turn into a prison. We become addicted to the praise, to the recognition, and we begin to equate our worth with our sense of value becomes tied to the number of things we can tick off a to-do list, or the hours we put in at work, not to the quality of our experiences or the depth of our relationships. What we often fail to see in this cycle is that by being constantly busy, we lose the ability to truly live. We miss the opportunity to pause and reflect, to apprehend the simple moments, to feel our emotions, and to reconnect with our inner self. The more we do, the less we experience, and the more we experience only in a fragmented way, the less we feel truly alive. At the end of the day, busyness may make us feel like we're accomplishing something, but it rarely brings us peace or fulfillment. It pulls us away from our true purpose and leaves us lost in a never-ending race. The trap of busyness is that it keeps us so caught up in the doing that we forget to stop and simply be. Being present is the most powerful tool we have, yet it is also one of the most neglected. We live in a world that constantly pulls us away from the present moment, either by dragging us into the past or pushing us into the future. Our minds are often cluttered with regrets about what has already happened or anxieties about what might come next. We think of what we should be doing or what we could have done differently, but in doing so we miss the only thing that is truly real, this moment right here, right now. When we are fully present, we are not trying to fix anything or change anything, we are simply allowing ourselves to experience life as it is. In this state, there is no judgment, no resistance, there is only acceptance and awareness. The power of being present lies in its simplicity. It is the ability to focus entirely on the here and now, to feel every sensation, hear every sound, and embrace every thought and emotion as it arises. The beauty of presence is that it brings us back to the truth of who we are. When we are present, we are not distracted by the noise of our thoughts or the pressure of external expectations. We begin to experience life without the lens of constant evaluation, comparison or projection. The world opens up to us in a new light, and we are no longer lost in the drama of what could be, but grounded in the reality of what is. This sense of being present also allows us to connect more deeply with the people around us. When we are truly present with someone, we are not thinking about what we will say next or what we need to do afterward. We are simply listening, observing and engaging with them fully in the moment. This kind of attention creates space for deeper connection, greater understanding and genuine empathy. Furthermore, presence brings us into harmony with the flow of life. Life is not something that can be controlled, but when we are present, we are in tune with its natural rhythm. We begin to notice the subtle changes, the small moments of beauty, the fleeting experiences that make life rich and meaningful. Instead of fighting against the current of life, we start to move with it, responding to each moment with clarity and calm. Being present also holds the power to heal. So often, we carry the weight of the past with us, or we worry about the future. These mental burdens create stress, anxiety and suffering. But when we are truly present, we let go of these attachments. We stop replaying old memories or projecting fear into the future, and we allow ourselves to simply exist without these mental weights. The mind becomes clear, the heart becomes light, and we find that in the present moment there is always peace. The power of being present is a subtle yet profound force. It doesn't require us to go anywhere or do anything extraordinary. It only asks us to let go of the need to chase after life and instead to allow ourselves to be with it exactly as it is. When we can embrace the present moment fully, we unlock the immense potential of simply being, and in doing so, we discover the richness and depth of life itself. In a world that is perpetually noisy, both externally and internally, stillness is often seen as a luxury, something we seek only when we are tired or overwhelmed. We fill our days with constant activity, whether it's work, social obligations or entertainment, and we rarely give ourselves the space to simply be still. Yet, the power of stillness lies not in the absence of noise, but in our ability to find peace amidst it. The world around us is full of distractions. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with sounds, images and demands that pull us in different directions. Our phones buzz with notifications, the radio blares, conversations happen in every direction. These noises keep us in a state of constant reaction, always looking for the next thing to do or pay attention to. We forget that in this ceaseless flow of information, there is often little room for us to just be with ourselves. We mistake the noise for life, thinking that the more we have going on, the more alive we are. But in reality, this noise is nothing more than a distraction from the deeper truth of our existence. In the end, life is not measured by how much noise we make or how busy we are. but by how deeply we are able to experience each moment with presence, stillness, and awareness. We are all so caught up in the constant race, the endless pursuit of more, that we forget the richness of simply being. The true power of life lies not in the external noise, but in the quiet space within us, where we connect with the essence of who we are and the world around us. So, the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by the rush, take a moment to step back, to breathe, and to be still. Embrace the silence. In that stillness, you will find clarity, peace, and the profound truth that life is not about doing more, but about being more, being present, being aware, and being at peace with the flow of existence. When we learn to embrace the power of stillness over the noise, we begin to live a life that is not just full of tasks, but full of meaning. And in that, we will truly discover the depth of living.